Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a fan concept that's been making waves online. A showdown between the incredible She-Hulk and a mysterious new character, Ben Zombie. The prompt we're working with is simple, but packed with potential. A photorealistic scene where a smirking She-Hulk in a torn grey t-shirt faces off against a hulking zombie-like figure. She cracks her neck and says, "Looks like the shirt's not the only thing that's torn tonight." And Ben Zombie just growls in response. This single line sets an incredible stage. It's got action, attitude, and a hint of dark humor. It immediately makes you ask, who is Ben Zombie? Is he friend or foe? And what exactly is about to go down? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about our hero, Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. The description is perfect. She's green, powerful, and wearing a torn t-shirt, which instantly tells us she's just been in a fight or is about to start one. Her smirk and neck crack are pure She-Hulk. It's that blend of confidence, power, and a little bit of swagger that we all love. She's not just a brute, she's smart, witty, and completely in control of her strength. Her line, "Looks like the shirt's not the only thing that's torn tonight," is a classic Jen Walters power play. It's a double entendre. Is she talking about him getting torn up in a fight, or is there a different kind of tension in the air? This is what makes her character so dynamic. She can throw a punch and a punchline with equal force. Now, let's get to the mysterious figure. Ben Zombie. The name itself is intriguing. It immediately brings to mind characters like the Sentry's dark side, the Void, or even a twisted version of the Thing from the Fantastic Four, Ben Grimm. The zombie part suggests he might be undead, reanimated, or perhaps controlled by some dark magic or science. Is he a classic shambling zombie? The prompt says he's hulking and growls, which suggests something more monstrous and powerful, less of a mindless drone, and more of a formidable beast. Think Solomon Grundy from the DC universe, but with a unique Marvel twist. Let's speculate on his origins. Maybe he was an ordinary person named Ben, who was exposed to a combination of gamma radiation and some kind of necrotic energy. This would make him a dark mirror to the Hulk family. While Bruce and Jen represent the living, chaotic power of gamma, Ben Zombie could represent its connection to death and decay. This would create a fascinating thematic battle: life versus death, control versus mindless rage. His design could be incredible. Zombie color could mean grey or pale green, with decaying skin, exposed muscle, and perhaps an eerie, unnatural glow in his eyes. The fact that he just growls in response to She-Hulk's taunt is key. It shows he's not a conversationalist. He's primal, a force of nature. This makes him an unpredictable and terrifying opponent. You can't reason with a growl. You can't outwit a force of pure, destructive instinct. So, let's imagine the scene playing out. The fight before this moment must have been intense. Picture a city street, littered with debris. Cars are overturned, pavement is cracked. She-Hulk and Ben Zombie are standing in the middle of the destruction, the last two standing. The photorealistic daylight is a great touch. It's not some dark, stormy night. This horror is happening in broad daylight, which makes it even more unsettling. Jen's line is the spark that ignites the final round. After she says it, what happens next? I imagine Ben Zombie letting out a guttural roar and charging. He wouldn't use strategy, he'd be a wrecking ball of pure force. He'd swing with heavy, bone-shattering blows. She-Hulk, on the other hand, would be the more skilled fighter. She'd use her agility and intelligence to dodge his clumsy but powerful attacks, looking for an opening. She'd be weaving, ducking, and delivering precise, powerful counterstrikes. The fight would be a clash of styles. It's the matador versus the bull. Jen would be trying to find a weak spot. Can he even be knocked out? If he's a zombie, does he feel pain? This is where Jen's other superpower comes in, her brain. She'd have to analyze him mid-fight. She might notice that one of his arms is weaker, or that he flinches when she hits a certain spot on his chest. Maybe he has a regenerative ability that she needs to overwhelm. I can picture a moment where he grabs her and throws her through a building. She emerges from the rubble, shakes it off, and comes back with an even bigger smirk. "Is that all you've got, Grumpy Ben?" she might quip, combining her wit with her resilience. The fight would escalate, with She-Hulk having to push her own strength to its absolute limit. It wouldn't just be a physical battle, it would be a test of her will. How do you stop something that might be unstoppable? Now let's think about the bigger story. Where did Ben Zombie come from? He could be the creation of a classic villain. Maybe Dr. Doom is experimenting with gamma and necromancy. Or perhaps AIM or Hydra created him as a super soldier. This would give She-Hulk a larger conspiracy to unravel. After she defeats, or temporarily stops, Ben Zombie, her next mission would be to find out who's pulling the strings. Another interesting angle is a more tragic one. What if Ben Zombie was a good person? Maybe he was a scientist, or a hero who sacrificed himself and was brought back wrong. This would add a layer of ethical dilemma for Jen. She wouldn't just be fighting a monster, she'd be fighting a victim. Her goal would shift from simply defeating him to trying to save him, to find a cure. This is a classic Marvel theme, the monster who is also a victim. It would force Jen to use her compassion and her legal mind, not just her fists. She'd be in the lab with scientists, in the library doing research, trying to find a way to restore the Ben and get rid of the zombie. This scenario also allows for some great character interactions. Imagine Bruce Banner getting involved. He'd be fascinated and horrified by Ben Zombie, seeing him as a dark reflection of his own curse. He and Jen could work together, combining their scientific genius and gamma-powered might to solve the problem. You could also bring in characters like Dr. Strange to investigate the magical or supernatural side of his condition. Is his soul trapped? Is he possessed? The possibilities are endless. And let's not forget the legal side of things. Jen Walters is a lawyer. If Ben Zombie was a person who was transformed against his will, he has rights. This could lead to a fascinating courtroom drama storyline. Jen could find herself defending Ben Zombie in a court of law, arguing that he's not responsible for his actions. It would be She-Hulk, the superhero lawyer, in her element, fighting for justice both in the streets and in the courtroom. Let's circle back to that initial scene. The tied grey t-shirt. It's such a small detail, but it says a lot. It suggests a casual, almost DIY superhero costume. It's practical, it's cool, and it shows that Jen isn't about flashy spandex all the time. She's ready to get her hands dirty. It's a very grounded look for a very ungrounded situation. So, from one single sentence, we've built a world of possibilities. We have an epic fight, a mysterious new character with a potentially tragic backstory, and the seeds of a much larger plot involving science, magic, and maybe even a courtroom battle. This is the kind of storytelling that makes superhero comics and movies so compelling. It all starts with a great hook, a moment of tension and personality, and that's exactly what this prompt delivers. She-Hulk versus Ben Zombie. I'd pay to see that fight. What do you guys think? Who is Ben Zombie? How would this fight go down? Drop your theories in the comments below. I'd love to read what you all come up with. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the worlds of our favorite heroes. See you next time.